Hey you guys, I'm back. Sup guys? I just filmed a video of 12 tips if you plan on riding the bus. I'll link that down below. This is kind of an extension video of that because there's a couple little mini stories that go along with those tips, how I learned those tips, just like other crazy stories that occurred when I was on the bus. So here we go. At one point, like I said, I was nearly sat on. It was really dark, the bus was full, and I was lying down. I was wearing all black, and I guess they thought that it was an empty seat. I mean, easy mistake, but no. And he was swinging his butt into the chair as if he was gonna sit down. And his friend was like, someone's sitting there. And then he was like, oh shit. I didn't get an apology. I guess I thought I was sleeping, but like they didn't say sorry or anything like that. They just was like, ooh, blah, 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 and then got up and left. So whatever, dude. Oh, that tasted like blood. Ugh. How I knew not to open that door is because the first bus that I rode when I got on the bus to go home, he got off the bus, I gave him my ticket, he took my suitcase, and he told me to get on the bus. I thought he was kidding, but I guess he was serious because he was like, okay, get on the bus. And me and my sister and her fiance, we all just like looked at each other and kind of laughed it off because it was like rude, but I thought he was kidding because I've heard like some snarky bus drivers that are like funny, but also like snarky, you know? I turn around to get on the bus as he demanded, and he locked the door. And so I'm trying to open the door and it's locked, and I'm like, oh, whatever, you know, it's fine. I'm not gonna sit here and finagle the door because I don't want him seeing me like messing with the door while he's not even around, you know? So I go to hug my sister again to say like our final goodbyes, and he's like, let's go. Super rude. We laugh it off again, and I get on the bus. 45 minutes later, we're at another stop, a 10-minute stop, quick one. Our girl gets off the bus, and when the bus driver gets off, apparently this is a thing he does. He closes and locks the door, and she gets off the bus, and she gets on the bus before he can actually come back. She opens the door herself. I guess he didn't lock it. He gets on the bus in a rage. Who opened my door? And he's like walking down like to the back of the bus, and the girl, who is probably my age, if not younger, goes, oh, I did. And he's like, get off my bus. You're not allowed to open the door. Get off my bus right now. And she is like, I'm sorry, I had no idea. And he told her, oh, you're gonna be real sorry when you're waiting until tomorrow morning for the next bus. To this young girl. It was so scary for me. She must have been terrified. She was apologizing up and down again, and she was like, I had no idea. My last bus driver told me that I could do that, and he even showed me how to open the door, which I thought was kind of strange. I don't know if she was lying. I mean, good save if she was lying. Like, good for her, seriously. I don't know why the bus driver would do that without letting her know that it's actually illegal, and some bus drivers might get pissed off unless that's like a totally taboo thing for bus drivers to even get mad about. This guy was crazy. I'm telling you, he was crazy. He was so rude to me, and then he tried to kick this girl off for opening the door. Anyway, he let her stay, but he was like, okay, like just don't ever do that again. It's illegal, it's against the law, it's a danger, it's a safety hazard, whatever the fuck. I was actually pretty upset the way he treated her. I don't know, it was kind of sad. We got off at this one stop like a couple hours later, and I was like, that bus driver's a prick, and she was like, yeah, I know. So the next day in Michigan, the bus driver pulls the bus over, and my first thought is the bus broke down, we're stuck in the middle of Michigan, gonna be waiting hours for the next bus. Turns out we were stopped by a state trooper. She was pulled over for some reason, I don't know why, but anyway, she had to get all her papers out and everything and show the officer all her papers. She's still waiting outside, and the state trooper leaves, and I'm like, what is going on? And then he comes back with a dog, a drug-sniffing dog. They open up the bottom space where everyone's luggage is, and the dog just sniffs everyone's luggage. I didn't know what that was about. It was very strange, and I was very relieved because it did cross my mind to bring some weed to South Dakota with me, but then I was like, I won't have time to smoke it, and there's no point because I won't have anyone to smoke it with. I probably would have kept it in my backpack anyway. We were all clean though, so that was great. I was terrified that he was gonna find something, and then we'd be stuck there while the guy gets arrested and everything like that, and but I Snapchatted it, so here's the video. The last leg of my journey, everything broke. All of my technology broke. It was my last night too, which was the worst part because it was like I was in my last leg of the journey, and it was an overnight, and I just was so annoyed. My headphone stopped working, just one, so it wasn't too bad, and I did have a second pair, but it was like more muffled. This had like a way better sound, but yeah, this broke out of nowhere. Very upsetting. My 3DS stopped charging. The pin inside is like wacky, so it doesn't charge anymore. The screen to my iPod went black. It still worked, and I got it stuck on shuffle, so that was good. It's fixed now, by the way. It just started working again, so that was great. And my phone charger broke. It snapped in two. Look at this. It just snapped in two. I had never seen a charger break this quickly. It frayed and snapped in two in the same night. Wild. I literally unplugged it like that, and I tried to plug my new phone charger in because I'm so crazy that I bought a phone charger at 2:30 in the morning in the middle of Pennsylvania, even though I was gonna be home the next day. Yeah. The thing is, I couldn't sleep that night, and I want to be able to like talk to my boyfriend and talk to my friend and everything, so yeah, I fucking gave in and bought an $18 charger. I mean, I'm still using it, so whatever. Like, I guess I needed it anyway, but at the same time, you can never have too many phone chargers anyway, because apparently they will break in one night on you and then you'll be screwed. I was hungry for a lot of the last night. By the time I got to Cleveland, it was 9 p.m. I hadn't eaten in like 12 hours and I was dying of hunger. I got the best chicken sandwich with fries and soda and it was so good. Like, I wish that I lived closer to Cleveland Port Authority because their chicken sandwiches are great. So if you're ever there, get the chicken sandwich because they never have the Philly cheesesteak ever. There was a guy on the bus meeting his girlfriend for the first time in Wyoming. He was going there to like live and work with his brother and he was so nervous because I was getting off before him and he had like probably another 3 hours on the bus, but that was the night he was meeting his girlfriend. She was picking him up from the bus stop and he was like borderline crying about meeting this girl. He was so nervous. This one guy smoked him up that day, which kind of was annoying, so I was like, shit, I should have made friends with them so I could smoke. And then he rolled a joint behind me on the bus. He was literally rolling a joint on the bus and then gave it as a parting gift to this guy who was about to go meet this new girl that he was dating. This woman was so annoying. First, she asked me to put her bag on top for her because her leg was hurting her. I didn't do it because it definitely wouldn't have even fit in the overhead, so I wasn't about to sit there and finagle someone else's bag, and it looked dirty. Sorry. I'm not high maintenance, but gross. Then she had me like plug in her phone, and then she had me take the back off of her phone, and like, I don't know if you noticed, but I have chrome nails, and I had to pry apart the back of her phone to get the battery out, and I was like not happy about it, but I did it for her anyway. Then, in broad daylight, we're approaching Chicago. She turns around and asks the man that I'm sitting next to, what town are we in? It was so stupid I didn't even answer. I was like, all right, he's gonna handle this because I'm not answering such a stupid question. And he was like, we're in Chicago. And she's like, oh, okay, thanks. And then 10 minutes later, she turns around to me as if we had been talking the entire time and says, is this your final stop? And I'm like, what do you mean? Is this my final stop? She just came out of nowhere. She just came out of left field, threw me off. So I said, no, this is not my last stop. I'm going to New York. Hi, I know everything is completely 100% different than that last clip. That's because that last clip I filmed last week. However, last night I was editing it a week later and I didn't realize it cut off exactly where it had just cut off. So I'm gonna pick it up from there. Let's go, let's do this. This is how us entertainers work. Another story that I forgot to put in, which I'm glad that it cut off because then I get to put it in. We were on the eastern part of South Dakota, and the bus driver told us if we get off the bus and go into the convenience store, because we pulled into a gas station convenience store parking lot, if we go into that store to bring our luggage, because we're not allowed to get back on the bus. We're banned from going into that convenience store. I don't know why. He didn't give an explanation. He just told us we're not allowed in there, don't go in there, which was so inconvenient. And it was really lame too because I feel like it had been a couple hours since we had stopped anywhere significant where there was food or something to get to drink. And then we pulled into here and I was so happy. I think I was gonna go in there and get something to eat. And then he was like, nah man, you can't go in there. Another time I almost missed the bus for a Cosmic Brownie because I was hungry. People at the register were so slow. The bus driver made the final call saying, we're leaving in 5. Everybody online was from the bus. A couple people let us like cut the line because we had to get on the bus and they lived there. They were taking so long. And then one guy opened the register and we all went over there and then he said, oh, my register's not working, sorry. So we had to get back on the line. It was worth it though, 100%. Those are my stories. A week later, the video is finished. Yes. Okay.